Lena was like any other 16-year-old girl in a small, quiet neighborhood. Her life was filled with school, friends, and family, especially her mom, Grace, and dad, Robert. They were the kind of parents who loved her deeply and made sure she never wanted for anything. But despite this perfect picture, there was always something Lena couldn't quite grasp, something hidden beneath the surface. Her mother, warm and caring, had always been there for her, but there was a mystery about her past that Lena couldn't ignore. It was a lazy Sunday afternoon when Lena's curiosity got the best of her. As she cleaned out her mother's closet, Lena discovered an old dust-covered box hidden behind blankets and forgotten trinkets. It was strange, she'd never seen it before. Her hands shook slightly as she lifted the box, intrigued by the secrecy it seemed to hold. Inside the box were old photographs, a few yellowed letters, and a delicate locket. But it was one photograph in particular that caught her eye. It was a black and white picture of her mother, Grace, much younger, standing beside a man Lena didn't recognize. They were smiling at each other, their eyes filled with affection, almost as if the world around them didn't exist. It was a memory frozen in time, a side of her mother Lena had never known. But it wasn't just the picture that disturbed Lena, it was the letter tucked underneath it. She unfolded the fragile paper carefully, reading the words that made her heart race. Dearest Grace, I know we can't be together as we once dreamed, but my love for you will never fade. You are my heart's true home, and no matter where life takes us, you'll always be the one I think of, the one I love. I hope someday we can be together again. Until that day comes, know that I am keeping you in my thoughts and prayers and hoping for the best for your future. But never forget my love for you remains unwavering. Yours forever, eh? Lena felt a wave of confusion and pain wash over her. Who was this, Why had her mother kept this letter? Why had Grace never told her about this man? She didn't know what to think. Her mother, who was always so open and loving, had a past she had never shared with her. Later that evening, when her parents were sitting in the living room, Lena couldn't shake the thoughts from her mind. She had to know the truth. She couldn't just let this mystery go unanswered. Mom, there's something I found, Lena said, her voice trembling as she walked into the room. Grace turned a smile on her face, but when she saw the photograph and letter in Lena's hand, her expression immediately shifted to one of concern. Where did you find these? Grace asked, her voice tense. Lena's heart pounded. In the box in your closet. Who is this man, Mom? Grace stood still, her eyes wide with shock, her face pale. For a moment, she didn't say anything, as if trying to gather her thoughts. Then, slowly, she sat down on the couch, motioning for Lena to join her. Her eyes looked distant, lost in memories she had kept hidden for so long. His name was Aaron, Grace began, her voice soft. He was the love of my life before I met your father. We were young, full of dreams. We thought we'd be together forever. She paused, looking down at her hands, as if the weight of the past had come rushing back. But things don't always turn out the way you expect. When I found out I was pregnant with you, I knew I had to make a choice. I couldn't keep living in the past. I had to move forward, and that meant leaving Aaron behind. Lena sat frozen, unable to process the words she was hearing. Her mother had been in love with someone else. The mother she had always known, the woman who had raised her with so much love, had once had a life full of different hopes and dreams. But why didn't you ever tell me? Lena asked, her voice shaky. I had no idea? Grace's eyes filled with tears. I didn't want to burden you with my past, Lena. I wanted you to have a perfect, happy childhood. I didn't want you to feel like you were in any way a part of something that didn't work out. But I see now that I should have been honest with you. You deserve to know the truth. Lena felt a mixture of emotions, shock, sadness, and confusion. It was hard to reconcile the perfect image of her mother she'd always had with the woman sitting in front of her now, someone with a history full of pain, choices, and sacrifice. The secret that had been kept for so long was finally out in the open, but now Lena didn't know what to do with the knowledge. But you never told Dad? Lena asked quietly, her mind racing. No, Grace said, shaking her head. Your father knows nothing about Aaron. He never did. I thought it was a chapter of my life I'd closed. When I married your father, I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to build a family with him, and that's what I did. Lena nodded slowly, trying to understand. So you were going to be with him, Aaron? Grace's expression softened, a bittersweet smile on her lips. I loved him, Lena. I loved him more than anything, but life doesn't always give us the choices we want. I made the choice to have you, to build a family with Robert, and I never looked back. But Aaron, he'll always be in my heart. The silence between them grew heavy, filled with unspoken words. For years, Lena had seen her mother as a constant, unshakable figure. But now, with this revelation, everything had changed. It was as if a veil had been lifted, showing her the complexities of her mother's past, the hidden pain and lost love. I'm sorry I never told you, Grace whispered, her voice thick with emotion. I just wanted to protect you. Lena reached out and took her mother's hand, her heart aching for the woman she thought she knew so well. I understand, Mom. I wish you had told me sooner. Grace squeezed her hand, a tear slipping down her cheek. I know, honey, but now you know, and maybe it's time for us both to heal from the past. As Lena sat there, processing everything, she knew this was only the beginning of uncovering her family's hidden truths. The secrets of her mother's past had come to light, but there were still more mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The day she found that photograph was the day everything changed for her family. And in the coming days, Lena would discover even more about love, loss, and the bond that held them all together.